It's Friday, much like today, at Cape Kennedy, Florida. The astronauts Ed White, Gus Grissom, and Roger Chaffee are hopeful to end a long weekend of tests for the Apollo 1 command module. A weekend with friends and family is what's on their minds.
I seem to get busier all the time, and I find that I'm home less and less. That's about the way it's been going.
This footage is from another test just a few months earlier. They will simulate space flying conditions inside the command module. The demand by our deceased president, John F. Kennedy, just 4 years earlier, couldn't feel more urgent to beat communist Russia to the moon. Apollo 1 was the start. As Friday morning turned into afternoon, they ascended to the tower.
We've run one altitude chamber test on the spacecraft. We'll be running another one, and then we'll start our final preparations for launch.
They entered the capsule on top of the Saturn IB rocket. It's not fueled yet, so the test is considered non-hazardous. They close the hatch and pressurize the spacecraft with 100% pure oxygen, exactly how it would be up in space. This is called the plugs out test. Ground control and Apollo 1 crew began a long checklist.
Negative. Launch vehicle guidance. Roger.
Communication problems caused delays and frustration. More than 2 hours into the test, Commander Grissom goes off script to express his annoyance.
How are we gonna get the moon? We can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings.
Then there's a surge of voltage somewhere in the electrical system, showing on the controller's computer screens. Spotty communication reveals the capsule is on fire. Ground control tries to hail the astronauts. They call the workers on the launch pad. It's only 17 seconds from the first call of fire to radio silence. Just 17 seconds.
Can you read it?
After that, it was too late. The fire erupted. It just didn't spread. It was an explosive combustion. The hull of the spacecraft had ruptured from the pressure of the fire. The temperature got up to 1,200 degrees. There were puddles of aluminum that had melted during the fire. It was sparked by an electrical short, fed by 3 miles of Velcro material, 100% oxygen, and contained by a heavy hatch designed to lock out space. Instead, it locked in fire. Nobody at NASA really realized that they were putting those 3 astronauts into a bomb that was waiting to go off. After that lengthy investigation, it was found that North American Rockwell was incompetent in some of the design of the command module, one of 3 parts to complete the Apollo spacecraft. Well, what did NASA learn from this? Needless to say, they learned a lot. They knew that space was dangerous, but the risk to astronauts' lives come from the agency, or at least we thought they learned that. NASA figured 100% pure oxygen would make the capsule lighter, so it would take less fuel to launch. Pure oxygen is 15% higher than at standard pressure at sea level. The capsule hatch was sealed from the outside to prevent accidental opening while in space. It also opened inward, making the inside pressure impossible to open. The investigation also revealed even more issues, not just the engineering level or organization level, but the preparation levels. The other issue was that the pressure inside of the capsule was higher than the outside, making things a lot worse. That's why ever since, instead of using high pressure oxygen, NASA uses a mix of gases at standard atmospheric pressure. For the rest of the missions, they would use only 60% oxygen and 40% nitrogen, while the astronauts used a separate portable enclosed case with pure breathable oxygen feeding into their spacesuits. NASA made another engineering change too. They started constructing the command module and the astronaut suits entirely out of non-flammable materials. But NASA changed way more things than just gases and materials. They also overhauled their safety procedures. Before the fire, there was no fire safety equipment at the launch pad. When tests were being conducted, there were no emergency staff present, like EMTs or firefighters. So NASA implemented a whole new bunch of changes to fix every one of these problems. This is why Artemis 1 took so long to develop. Even though it was unmanned, the procedure was going to be tested as if it were crewed. In the words of Flight Director Gene Kranz,
"Spaceflight's terribly unforgiving of carelessness, incapacity, or neglect. I don't know what the Thompson Committee will find as the cause of this accident, but I know what I find. We were the cause. The simulators weren't ready. Our software and mission control didn't function. Procedures weren't complete. Nothing we did had any shelf life. And no one stood up and said, 'Damn it, stop.' Now, from this day forward, mission control will be known by two words: tough and competent. Tough meaning we will never again shirk from our responsibility because we're forever accountable for what we do or what we fail to do. Competent will never again take anything for granted. We'll never stop learning. When you leave here today, you will write these two words, tough and competent, on your blackboard, and they will never be erased. They will serve as a constant reminder to the sacrifice of Grissom, White, and Chaffee. That's all."
thanks for watching this video. God bless, and God bless Apollo 1.